Hey everybody, in this video we are going to do a PSAT math calculator test. This may not have the appearance of a PSAT test, but these are the types of questions that you will see on your PSAT math calculator test. On the calculator test there will be 31 questions and we will have 45 minutes in which to answer them. So number one, the value of y is directly proportional to the value of x. That means we are going to have a proportion in this form. Y is to x as y is to x. If y is 8 when x is 16, so that means 8 is to 16 as, what is the value of y when x is 24? Okay, so we can cross multiply and we'll get 16y, and 8 times 24 is 192, and we'll divide by 16. 192 divided by 16 is 12, so we get y is 12, option A. Miguel made multiple batches of a juice recipe that requires 4 cups of water and 2 cups of fruit juice concentrate. If Miguel followed the recipe for each batch and used a total of 6 cups of fruit juice concentrate, how many total cups of water did he use? So we will use a proportion again, just like we did above in number 1. Okay, so the recipe called for 4 cups of water and 2 cups of juice concentrate. Okay, now Miguel made multiple batches and he used a total of 6 cups of fruit juice concentrate. How many cups of water did he use? Okay, so now from here on out I'm going to ignore the water and juice and just do cross products. It's 2x. And then 4 times 6, that's 24. And divide by 2, and we get x is 12. He used 12 cups of water. Question 3. 2 equations are equivalent if they have the same solution. Which of the following equations is equivalent to this equation? So we want 2 equations with the same solution. So I'm going to get the solution to this equation and then find one here that has the same solution. So 16x minus 2 equals 12x plus 9. We can add 2 to both sides. We can also subtract 12x from both sides and get 4x equals 11. And then I can divide both sides by 4, and I get x equals 11 fourths. So I need one of these equations to have that same solution. And notice right here I have 4x equals 11, gave me x equals 11 fourths. Here I have 4x equals 11. That will give me x equals 11 fourths. So D will have the same solution. Okay, on to question number 4. M equals 165W, the equation can be used to determine the amount of money, M in dollars, that Stephanie will be paid for W weeks. So M is the total money that Stephanie is going to make. W is the number of weeks. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 165 in the equation? Okay, so now 165 has to relate dollars and weeks. So we need something that does that relates dollars and weeks. So A, the number of hours that Stephanie will work for W weeks, that does not relate dollars and weeks. The rate in dollars per hour at which Stephanie will be paid. Okay, so dollars per hour does not seem quite right because that doesn't quite relate dollars and weeks. It relates dollars and hours. Okay, so next, the amount of money in dollars Stephanie will be paid each week. Okay, dollars and weeks are put together there. So A and B are definitely a no. C seems pretty good. Let's check D. The total amount of money in dollars Stephanie will be paid. The total amount of money is M, not 165. So it's the amount of money per week that Stephanie will be making. That is option C. Number 5, the velocity of a space shuttle increases at an approximately constant rate during the first 5 minutes after launch. Of the following graphs, which best represents the velocity during the first 5 minutes after launch? So it is increasing at a constant rate. A is constant, but it's not increasing at a constant rate. Okay, it needs to increase at a constant rate. B seems to be increasing quickly and then slowing down. C, increasing slowly, then speeding up. D, increasing at a constant rate. It is linear and it is increasing. Option D is correct. Number 6, Carl's expenses for making a product are $4.50 per piece. He will make a profit of between $1 and $2.50 per piece, depending on the final sale price. So far we know that the profit is going to be at least $1, but at most $2.50 for every piece. Okay, so that's for one piece. Bigger than 1 or equal to 1, less than or equal to $2.50. But what if Carl sells 50 pieces? Which of the following inequalities represents the total profit that he will make? Okay, so this is for 1. For 50, we can multiply these numbers by 50. 1 times 50 is 50. Okay, that eliminates A and B. And then $2.50 times 50 is $1.25. So it looks like option D is correct. Questions 7 and 8 refer to this information here. This scatter plot shows the body mass in kilograms and length rounded to the nearest centimeter of 20 bottlenose dolphins. The equation of the line of best fit, which is not shown for these data, is given here. Based on the line of best fit, which of the following statements is true? Now, truthfully, if we're looking to save time, we probably could have skipped reading any of that and just go to this. Which of the following statements is true? Now, if I look at this graph, it looks like as the body mass increases, the length also seems to be increasing. Okay, so is it true that as the body mass of a dolphin increases, the length decreases? No, that doesn't seem to be true. As the body mass of a dolphin increases, the length of the dolphin increases. Yeah, that's definitely true. As body mass is going up, so is length, according to this line of best fit. Okay, so option C, we'll just see if any of these make sense to compare to B. As the body mass increases, the length remains constant. Well, that's not true because the length is going up. There's no correlation. I don't think that's true either. As body mass goes up, so does length. Option B is a good option. Number 8, using that same graph, what is the median length in centimeters of the 7 longest dolphins? So the first thing we need to do is look at this graph and find the 7 longest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So anywhere from here up, those are the 7 longest dolphins. Okay, so to find the median, that is the middle value. So we'll need to put these numbers in order. Okay, so what we could actually do is just start crossing off the top and bottom and work our way toward the middle. So if I cross off the top and the bottom, okay, now I'm down to 5, and I'll cross off the next 2, and then the next 2, and my middle one is right here. Of these longest 7, my middle one is right here, and it seems to be right at 280. That is option C. A biologist is studying the sizes of ostrich eggs After weighing a random sample of eggs, the biologist determines with a high level of confidence that the average weight of an ostrich egg is 1.4 kilograms, with a margin of error of plus or minus 0.1 kilograms. Which of the following inequalities represents an interval of weights in kilograms that the biologist can be confident contains the true weight W of all ostrich eggs? Okay, so that true weight is 1.4 kilograms plus or minus 1. Okay, so 1 above and 1 below 1.4. Okay, so it's saying that the weight is less than 1.3. That's not true. Between 1.2 and 1.4, no. 1.3 and 1.5, I like that option. Okay, so we've got 1.4 plus or minus 0.1. That is between 1.3 and 1.5. All right, number 10. The expression above is equivalent to which of the following? So what I can do is combine like terms. I'm subtracting here x squared minus 2x squared. So that's 1x squared minus 2x squared. That is negative 1x squared, which already eliminates D as an option. Okay, then I have negative 2x minus 4x. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6, so minus 6x, which eliminates C. And then we have 3 minus negative 5. A minus negative means plus. Okay, so we have 3 plus 5, which is 8. So it's option A. Okay, now another way that I can think about this is distributing that negative, so I can change it to a plus. So then I would have x squared minus 2x plus 3 plus, and now I distribute that negative. Negative 2x squared minus 4x plus 5, x squared plus negative 2x squared, negative 2x plus negative 4x, and 3 plus 5. Number 11. In the system of equations above, C is a constant. If the system has infinitely many solutions, what is the value of C? Now, if this system of equations has infinitely many solutions, that means these two equations are going to be exactly the same. So to make them look exactly the same, I can divide every term by 3 and get x plus y, just like I have here, equals 2, which means C is 2, option A. Questions 12 through 14 will use this information. Monique has several bank and investment accounts. The amount of money in dollars in 3 of these accounts on January 1st of each of 4 years, so 2010, 2011, 12, and 13, is shown in the partially completed table below. Partially completed because there's one missing value here. Okay, so question 12, Monique does not deposit or withdraw any money from these accounts for the 4 years shown in the table. Account A earns 2% interest compounded annually. B, $14 interest annually. Account C is an investment account that does not earn interest but can gain or lose value. At the beginning of 2013, so 2013 here, Monique considered transferring some of her money to an account in Japan. If the currency exchange rate on January 1st, 2013 was 86.72 Japanese yen is equal to $1 US, which of the following is the closest to the value of account C that same day in Japanese yen? Okay, so if Monique is going to convert account C on January 1st, 2013 to yen, how many yen will she receive? Okay, so on that day, we'll write a proportion here, 86.72 Japanese yen is to $1, as how many yen is to $357.45. Okay, so we can do cross products. We get 1 times x is x, and 86.72 times 357.45. And that is 30,998.064. And that seems closest to option D, 30,998 yen. Question 13, about those same accounts. Monique has a fourth account, account D. So we'll just add account D here. If the average value of accounts A, B, C, and D on January 1st of 2011 was $603. So that means if I add up these four numbers, I'm going to get $603. What is the value here in account D on January 1st of 2011? Okay, so if I add up the four numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and divide by 4, I will have the average. So 714 plus 714 plus 442 and 80 cents plus whatever is in account D divided by 4 gives me the average. And I know that average is 603. So to solve this, I can multiply both sides by 4 to cancel this here. Okay, and while I do that, I'll combine my like terms here. So I've got 714 plus 714 plus 442.80, and that's 1870.8 equals now 603 times 4 is 2412. Okay, so I've got 1870.8 equals, or times, or plus D. So all of these plus D, 1870.8 plus D equals 2412. So minus 1870.8. And I'll find what is in account D. So 2412 minus 1870.8 is 541.2. So $541.20. Option A. Question 14, still about those same accounts. The amount of money in account C increased by 9% between January 1st of 2012 and January 1st of 2013. What is the value of X in the table? Okay, so that means that what we have in 2013 is 109% of what we had in 2012. So 357.45 is equal to 109% times X, or 1.09, that's 109%, times X. So we'll divide by 1.09. So 357.45 divided by 1.09 is 327.94, option B. Question 15. What is the complete list of solutions to this equation? So I've got a binomial times a binomial times a binomial equals 0. I'm going to get three solutions. One when I set this equal to 0, one when I set this equal to 0, and one when I set this equal to 0. So 2x plus 1 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, and x plus 1 equals 0. Okay, so now I solve these three, and I get my three solutions. By the way, I can eliminate options A and B because they only have two solutions. I'm going to have three unique solutions here. Okay, so I can subtract 1 here and get 2x equals negative 1, and divide by 2, and I get x equals negative 1/2. And only option D has that, so I can actually just pick option D now and move along. Okay, now to check the rest of those solutions, which I don't necessarily need to do, I would add 3 here and get x equals 3. Okay, and that matches. And then minus 1 and x equals negative 1, and that also matches. So option D is definitely correct. Number 16, based on the system of equations above, what is the value of x plus 2y? So we need to solve that system for x and y, and then find what is x plus 2y. Now this system is already set up to eliminate the y's. So if I combine these two equations, the y's eliminate, and I have 2x plus x, that's 3x, and 5 minus 2 is 3, and I can divide by 3 and get x equals 1. Okay, so there's one value, x equals 1. Now I can substitute that x into either of these two equations. I'll use the bottom equation. Okay, so I have 1 minus y equals negative 2. Okay, so let's subtract 1, and I get negative y equals negative 3, which means positive y equals positive 3. So I've got my values of x and y. Now what is x plus 2y? So that's 1 plus 2 times 3. So that's 1 plus 6, which is 7, option D. Okay, number 17. Course registration at a university falls into this table. The table above shows course registration data for 250 first-year students selected at random from a university. Assuming that the students in the sample are representative of all first-year students at the university, which of the following best estimates the probability that a first-year student who will be selected at random from the university has registered for a history course, a science course, or both during the first year? Okay, so a probability problem demands an event over a sample space. Okay, so the event is students who take either science or history or both. The sample space is everyone who was part of the data. So in this case, the sample space is 250 because there are 250 students represented in this table. The event is taking history or science or both. So according to this table, there are 60 students who have history and science, 40 who have science but not history, and 120 who have history but not science, then 30 who have neither. Okay, so that 30 who have neither is kind of important. If 30 don't have science or history out of the 250, then that means 220 students out of the 250 have at least one of those. Okay, so 220 students have science or history or both. Now 0 and 0 here at the back end I can eliminate, and I've got 22 out of 25. So 22 out of every 25 have science or history or both. That is option D. For a ferry service, the manager estimates that the daily revenue R in dollars can be modeled by the function given here, where each ticket is priced at X dollars. According to the graph of R above, for how many ticket prices is the manager's estimate of the daily revenue equal to $3,315? Now for this problem, I really don't even need to know what this means. I can go here and see a revenue of $3,315. So here's the revenue in thousands, 3,315. Here's 3.3 thousand, so that's $3,300. So we're talking about a revenue just a little bit over that. And it looks like right there and there we intercept our arc. So there will be 2 different points on this arc, which will represent 2 different ticket prices that will give a daily revenue of $3,315. So number 19, here is a frequency table showing the number of trips made by 40 heads of household to a grocery store in a given week. Which of these statements accurately represents this data? So in this survey, 4 people said they went to the grocery store once in that week. 17 people said 2 times, 5 said 3 times, and so on. So all of these statements here compare the median to the mean. So we need to find the median and we need to find the mean. So for the mean, let's do the mean first. We need to add up all the numbers and divide by the number of numbers. So to add up the numbers, we can kind of take a shortcut. We've got 4 people who said 1, so that's 4 times 1, plus 17 people who said 2, 17 times 2, plus 5 people who said 3, plus 7 people who said 4, plus 4 people who said 5, plus 2 people who said 6, plus 1 person who said 7. And all that is divided by the number of numbers, and there are 40 people in this survey, so that would be 40. Okay, so let's add that numerator and then divide by 40. So we have 4 times 1 plus 17 times 2 plus 5 times 3 plus 7 times 4 plus 4 times 5 plus 2 times 6 plus 1 times 7, and that is 120 over 40, and that is 3. Okay, so the mean is 3. Okay, now we need to compare that to the median. So to do the median, we actually need to write all of the numbers in order and then find the middle value. So there were 4 people who said 1, so I need 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. 17 people said 2, so I need 17 twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 twos. 5 people said 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 people said 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 people said 6. 1, 2. And I skipped the 5s. 4 people said 5. So I actually need to put that first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 2 people said 6. 1, 2. And 1 person said 7. Okay, so now to find the middle value, I can just start crossing off numbers on each end. So there's 1, another 1, and I'll just keep crossing off on the front end and the back end until I get to the middle. And it looks like I've got 2 numbers in the middle here. They are both 2s. I take the average of those, and a 2 and a 2, the average is going to be 2. So 2 is the median. Okay, so is it true that the median number is 1 more than the mean? The median is 1 more than the mean, so 2 is 1 more than 3. That's not true. The median is equal to the mean. 2 and 3 are not equal. That's not true. The median is 1 less than the mean. 2 is 1 less than 3. That is true. Okay, so C is the correct option. Number 20, in the figure above, PR is 7, PQ is 5, QR is 8, ST is 6, and segment PQ is parallel to segment ST. So PQ here is parallel to ST. Now what that means is that these alternate interior angles are congruent, and these alternate interior angles are congruent, which tells us that these two triangles by angle are similar triangles. So we can use a proportion to find the length of segment RT. Okay, so for segment RT, I'll put an X right there, and I will use a proportion. X is to 7 as 6 is to 5. Okay, and now I'll use cross products. 5x equals, and then 7 times 6. 7 times 6 is 42. And we will divide by 5. So x equals 42 divided by 5 is 8.4. Okay, so the length of segment RT is 8.4. Number 21, Sam wants to buy a jacket that is discounted by 40% off of the original price. If the discounted price of the jacket is $38.70, what was the original price of the jacket? Okay, so if the jacket was 40% off, that means Sam paid 60%, and I'm going to write a proportion here. 60% is to $38.70 as full price 100% is to what? Okay, so we'll do our cross products. 60x equals 3870 times 100, that's 3870 divided by 60. So 3870 divided by 60 is 64.5. Number 22, in the xy plane, the parabola with this equation intersects the line with this equation at 2 points. What is the sum of the x-coordinates of the 2 points of intersection? So what I want to do is solve this one for y. So I'll have y equals and then y equals. Okay, so we'll start with that. So we'll move this x over, and we've got negative y equals negative x minus 4. So that means positive y equals positive x plus 4. Now I have y equals this and y equals this, which means I can set these equal to each other. X squared plus 2 is equal to x plus 4. Okay, so now I've got a squared and a first power, so let's move everything to the left side and set it equal to 0. So we have x squared, and then this x moves over and becomes negative x, and then 2 minus 4 is negative 2, and now it equals 0. Okay, so let's factor this. We need two numbers that multiply to make negative 2 and add to make negative 1. And the two numbers that do that are 1 and negative 2. So 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, and 1 plus negative 2 is negative 1. So the factored form is x plus 1 times x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so that means my solutions are negative 1 and positive 2. So those are my two values of x. Now the question is, what is the sum of those two values of x? Negative 1 plus 2 is 1, and that's option B. The graphs of the functions f, g, and h are shown. So here's function f, function g, and function h in the xy plane above. If f of x is ax squared minus 3, g of x is bx squared minus 3, and h of x is cx squared minus 3, where a, b, and c are constants, which of the following is true? Okay, so this number here tells how steep this is going to be. So a, b, and c tell the steepness for each curve. Okay, so the greater number means a steeper curve. Okay, so a is on this one right here. That's not as steep as this one, which is not as steep as this one, which means A should be the smallest, B should be the next smallest, and C should be the largest of the three numbers. Okay, so let's see which one makes sense. A is less than B, which is less than C. So that means C is the biggest, B is next, and A is the smallest. That is true, so we'll choose option A and move on to number 24. Okay, so in number 24, the graph of the linear function f is shown in the xy plane above. The graph of the function g, which is not shown, is a line that is perpendicular to y equals f of x. So this is y equals f of x. And it passes through 8, 0. Which of the following defines g? So one of these four equations is an equation for g. So g is perpendicular to this line here, and it goes through 8, 0. So first, let's find a slope of this line. Slope m equals rise over run. So from this point to this point, it rises 1, 2, 3, 4, and it runs 1, 2, 3. So 4 over 3 is the slope. Now g is going to be perpendicular. So the slope of a perpendicular line is the opposite reciprocal. So it's negative for opposite, and for reciprocal, 3 over 4. So this is the slope of line G. Okay, so that tells me it's either C or D. A and B are out. And it's going to pass through 8, 0. So 8, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0 is right here. Okay, now this right here is the y-intercept, and this is the x-intercept. So I don't know for sure that this is correct. Okay, but I can follow this slope to find the y-intercept. Okay, so it's down and right or up and left for a negative slope. So let's go up 3, left 4. Up 3, left 4. Puts me right here. Up 3, left 4 again. Puts me right here, and this is my y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the y-intercept is 6. Option D is correct. So number 25, Maya buys a sweater and a shirt from a department store. The store offers the following discounts on each item. For a sweater, it's 1/4 off the original price, and for a shirt, it is 20% off the original price. The sweater Maya buys is originally priced at $40. Okay, so there's a discount on that. So 1/4 times 40 is 10. So there's a $10 discount. Okay, so $10 discount, which means Maya really paid $30 for the sweater. She pays a 6% tax on the total discounted cost of both items. If the total cost of Maya's purchase, including tax, is $53, what is the original price in dollars of the shirt? Okay, so Maya pays 6% tax, which means she pays 106% of the cost of each item. Okay, so 1.06 times 30 is how much she actually pays for the sweater. Plus 1.06 times X, because I don't know the cost of the shirt. Okay, and that gives us a total of $53. Okay, so let's see, what is 1.06 times 30? That's $31.80. So she really paid $31.80 for the shirt, plus 1.06 times the cost of, that's $31.80 for the sweater, plus 1.06 times the cost of the shirt equals 53. So minus 31.8. Okay, so 53 minus 31.8 is 21.2. Okay, and then we can divide that by 1.06. And that tells us that she paid $20 for the shirt. Okay, but that is the discounted price. What is the original price? So the shirt was 20% off, which means what she paid was 80% of the price of the shirt. So 80% is to $20, as 100%, the original cost, is to how many dollars? Okay, so we've got cross products of 80x and 20 times 100. 20 times 100 is 2,000. Divided by 80 is 25. So the original cost of the shirt is $25. In the expression above, b is a non-zero constant. If the expression is equivalent to x squared for all x is greater than 0, what is the value of 2b over 3? Okay, so first I want to take this and move it out of the denominator into the numerator. When I do that, what happens is the sign of the power changes. So it becomes x to the negative b over 3 power. So 1 over x to the b over 3 is the same as x to the negative b over 3 power. Okay, so if this is equivalent to x squared, so that means that these two are equal. So x to the negative b over 3 is equal to x to the second power. I can find a value of b. So I've got x to this power equals x to this power. The bases are the same, therefore the exponents are the same. Negative b over 3 is equal to 2. So I can multiply both sides by 3 and get negative b equals 6, which means positive b equals negative 6. Okay, so the question is not what is b, that would be option A here, but it's not what is b, it is what is 2 times b over 3. So 2b over 3 is 2 times negative 6 over 3. So that's negative 12 over 3, which is negative 4, which is option B. In the xy plane, the graph of line L has this slope. These are the intercepts. If b is 3 more than a, what is the value of a plus b? Okay, now if the slope is 2, we can use that with the slope formula. Slope formula is y minus y over x minus x. That's 0 minus b over a minus 0 equals the slope, which is 2. Okay, we're also told that b is 3 more than a, so that's a plus 3. Now we've got b by itself here. Let's get b by itself here. So that's negative b over a equals 2. And I can multiply both sides by negative a and get b equals negative 2a. Okay, so b is negative 2a. B is also a plus 3. Okay, so let's use substitution and say that negative 2a equals a plus 3. Okay, so then I can divide, I can subtract this, minus a, and get negative 3a equals 3. Now I can divide by negative 3, and I get a is negative 1. So I've got a value of a of negative 1. Now I can plug that in right here. So b is negative 2 times negative 1, so b is 2. Okay, so what is a plus b? That's 2 and negative 1, which is 1. So b is our option here. So on number 28, we move to the grid response. So it's not multiple choice anymore, it is open-ended. So we have an electrician purchasing one type of electrical outlet and one type of outlet cover for a job. It costs $357 to purchase 21 electrical outlets and 21 outlet covers. If the outlet covers cost $2 each, how much would it cost the electrician to purchase 88 electrical outlets? Okay, so we need to figure out how much one electrical outlet costs and then multiply that by 88. So we have $357 spent on 21 electrical outlets and 21 outlet covers. And the outlet covers are $2 each. So for the covers, of that $357, 21 times $2 was for the covers. Okay, so 21 times 2, that's 42. So $42 were spent on the outlet covers. So if I take that out of the total purchase cost here, so 357 minus 42, that's $315 spent on outlets. Okay, so the outlets cost $315 for 21 of them. We can use that to find out how much each outlet costs. So $315 for 21 outlets, 315 divided by 21, that means it's $15 per outlet. So $15 per outlet. Okay, now how about the cost to purchase 88 outlets? So that's 88 outlets times $15 per outlet. When we grid in our response, I don't have a grid here in front of me, but in the grid, we would not use the dollar sign, so I won't put that in my answer. 88 times 15 is 1,320, so it costs $1,320 to purchase 88 outlets. Okay, so here is a college employment survey, results put in a table, but the table is incomplete. It's got some gaps in it. It shows the results of a survey of 240 college students who each reported their year in school and identified one of the three categories as their job status. If one of the 240 students is to be selected at random, what is the probability that the selected student is a second-year student who does not have a job? Okay, so we've got first, second, third, and fourth-year students who have no job, part-time, or a full-time job. So we're going to select one of the 240 students at random. Okay, so what is the probability? Now, probability uses an event over a sample space. Okay, so the event is a second-year student who has no job. So second year and no job. The sample space is all the students in the survey, and that is 240 students. Okay, so we need to figure out how many students are second-year students with no job. Second year, no job. That's right here. Okay, now we can fill in this blank, and that will help us fill in this one. So there's 240 students total. Okay, so if I do 240 and subtract 50 and subtract 60 and subtract another 60, the leftover will be the second-year students. 240 minus 50 minus 60 minus 60. So 70 of the respondents in this survey were second-year students. Okay? Now, of those 70 students, 32 had a part-time job, 8 had a full-time job. How many of them had no job? So I'll take that 70 and subtract the 32 and subtract the 8. That leaves 30 students who were second year and had no job. So the probability that our student selected at random is a second-year student with no job is 30 out of the entire population of the survey, the entire sample, which was 240. Now let's divide that. 30 divided by 240. In the gridded response, you can put 0.125. Or just 0.125. You don't necessarily need that 0. For our last two questions, we're going to use this same data about killer whales. The AB pod is a group of killer whales in Prince William Sound. The number of killer whales in the AB pod from 1984 through 2005 is shown in the line graph above. For the 5 years, 1984 through 1988, so 84 is right here, 88 right here. over those 5 years, what was the mean number of killer whales in the AB pod rounded to the nearest whole number? Okay, so a mean, that's an average. We add the numbers and divide by the number of numbers. So starting in 84, we had 35. In 85, we had 32. In 1986, we had 31. In 1987, we had 32. And in 1988, we had 36. Okay, so this will give me the sum, but then divide by the number of numbers, which is 5 for 5 years here. And that will give us the average. So we have 35 plus 32 plus 31 plus 32 plus 36 for a total of 166 divided by 5. So we've got 166 over 5, and that is 33.2. Now 33.2 will go in the grid just fine, but it does say rounded to the nearest whole number. So if we put 33.2, we did all that correct work to put a wrong answer. Okay, we want to make sure we round correctly. 33 is what would go in the grid. And our last question, what was the average rate of change? A rate of change should make you think of slope. In whales per year of the killer whale population in the AB pod from 1995 through 2005. Okay, so to find the slope, let's get a point out of 95 and 05. So in 1995, and that's along the x-axis, on the y-axis we have 22. So 1995, 22 whales. And then in 2005, we had 28 whales, 29 killer whales. We had 29. Okay, so those are the 2 points, and we're going to find the slope based on those 2 points. Okay, so for a slope, it's y minus y over x minus x. So let's use the bigger numbers first so we don't have negatives. 29 minus 22, that's y minus y. X minus x, 2005 minus 1995. Okay, 29 minus 22 is 7. 2005 minus 1995, that's 10. Okay, so we could put 7 over 10. We might have to grid it like this, 7/10. Or we could put 0.7 as our answer. Either of those should work just fine in your grid.